All right, so get this. Have you ever wondered about the brains behind the coolest tech out there?
Yeah, like what?
Like the stuff we see every day. We're talking the sleek new cars,
Yeah.
the platforms streaming your favorite shows, even the AI that's changing healthcare. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That stuff's everywhere.
Well, a lot of it comes down to one company, Tata Elxsi.
Huh. Interesting.
And we've got a ton of info to dig into today.
Lay it on me.
Annual reports, presentations, even call transcripts. It's like a treasure trove.
Oh, cool. So a deep dive into Tata Elxsi then.
You got it. We're going to decode their financial performance,
Yeah.
peek into their strategic plans, even size them up against the competition.
Sounds like fun. And who's this for?
Honestly, anyone who's even a little bit curious about tech, investors, enthusiasts, or just and anyone wondering how this company shapes our digital lives.
Yeah. So where do we start?
Well, I've got to set the stage, right?
Makes sense.
So Tata Elxsi, they're a global design and technology services company.
Okay, so they're like the wizards behind the curtain.
Exactly, helping other companies bring their ideas to life. And they're really focused on three key areas: transportation, media and communication, and healthcare.
So they're not just dabbling, they're all in.
Totally. And speaking of all in, let's talk numbers.
All right, let's see what they've got.
Their latest annual report for FY24 shows they hit a revenue of 3,552.1 crores.
Whoa. That's impressive.
It is right. And get this, even with the global economic slowdown, they still managed a 13% growth year on year.
Wow. They must be doing something right.
And their profit before tax, or PBT, jumped to 1,048.7 crores, an 11.9% increase.
All right, those are some solid numbers.
They are. Oh, and for anyone who likes a good dividend, they've recommended a 700% final dividend, which is 70 per share.
Now that's something to celebrate.
For sure. But we're not just looking at the what, we're looking at the why.
Right. Got to understand the story behind those numbers.
So let's break down how each sector contributed to this success.
Okay, let's do it. Where should we begin?
Well, we've got to start with the star performer.
You lead the way.
That would be transportation. Electric vehicles, connected cars, autonomous driving. Tata Elxsi is right in the thick of it, providing design and engineering solutions for this rapidly evolving industry.
Makes sense. Everyone's talking about that stuff.
Totally. In FY23, they saw a 32.7% growth in this sector, and it looks like that momentum kept going into FY24.
So what's their secret sauce?
Well, the Concalls give us some juicy insights into their strategy. One term you'll hear a lot is software-defined vehicle, or SDV.
Okay, SDV. What's that all about?
It's basically, well, cars are becoming more like computers on wheels.
Ah, I see. So it's all about the software.
Exactly. And Tata Elxsi is helping major car manufacturers navigate this shift. They even scored a massive multi-year SDV deal with a leading automotive OEM. They called it a landmark deal.
Wow. Sounds like a game changer.
Right. And then there's Tata, their connected car platform.
Tether. Tell me more.
It's like, imagine if your car could talk to other cars, share data, access service. It's the internet, but for vehicles.
That's wild. Like a whole network of cars communicating with each other.
Pretty much. And they've been investing heavily in this technology, so it's definitely a key part of their future plans.
Smart move. But didn't they mention something about a global economic slowdown?
Yeah, they did acknowledge that in the latest Concall, said it could impact the sector's growth. They didn't give specific revenue or PAC guidance for transportation, though.
So they're staying cautious. Makes sense, even with their strong performance.
Totally. But they also seem confident in their ability to adapt and find new opportunities.
That's the sign of a good company, right? Not just riding the wave, but steering the ship.
For sure. Speaking of steering the ship, did we find anything in those Concalls or the annual report about their capacity expansion plans?
Ah, good question. They did mention crossing a headcount of 11,000 personnel in FY23. Now they're over 13,000 strong.
So they're attracting talent. That's a good sign.
Definitely. Speaks to their reputation in the industry. They also mentioned expanding their global presence, wanting to tap into those diverse resource pools.
Makes sense. But what about the specifics? Any new facilities, infrastructure upgrades, or numbers on current capacity utilization?
They're being a bit tight-lipped on the specifics. The Concalls mostly focus on investing in R&D for cutting-edge stuff, like AI, cybersecurity, even quantum computing.
So laying the groundwork for future growth, but keeping their cards close to their chest.
Yeah, exactly. They did mention a new design and innovation center in Bengaluru focused on transportation.
Okay, interesting. Anything else?
Oh, and get this. They're investing in a rooftop solar project at their SBH facility in Pune. It'll increase capacity by a whopping 60%.
Wow, that's impressive. They're not just adding manpower, they're making their operations more sustainable too.
Right, a win-win. But yeah, for the full scope of their capacity expansion, we'll have to wait for more details.
All right, fair enough. So we've got a good grasp on their financials, a peek into their capacity plans, ready to dive into media and communication.
Absolutely. Let's see how they're handling this ever-changing world.
Hold on, before we do, did we see any major changes in their leadership team?
Actually, yes. Their FY24 annual report mentions 2 new additions to the board of directors, Mr. Sumitra Bhattacharya and Mrs. Ashu Suyash.
Oh, interesting. New board members could mean a shift in strategy, maybe a desire for fresh perspectives.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, are we ready for that deep dive into media and entertainment?
Let's do it.
Okay, so in FY23, media and communication was strong. They had 18.2% year-on-year growth. They've got a deep understanding of broadcast automation, content management, and over-the-top services. They even developed their own monitoring and analysis system.
Hold on, what's that?
It's called Falcon Eye.
Falcon Eye, okay. What does that do?
Imagine you have an eagle-eyes view of your entire broadcasting operation. That's Falcon Eye. It constantly monitors and analyzes everything so companies can optimize their broadcast quality and troubleshoot any issues right away.
So it's like a super-powered control center for broadcasting.
Exactly. And they've got a media OTT solution, too, for seamless content delivery across different platforms.
Okay, so think Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Tata Elxsi's working behind the scenes to make sure everything streams smoothly.
Yeah, exactly like that.
They really are covering all the bases.
They are. But remember that market slowdown we talked about?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the media and communication sector is feeling it.
Right. In FY24, they did say they saw a softening in the market. And the Concalls highlighted a shift in investments towards cost optimization and efficiency.
Exactly. Companies are tightening their belts, and that usually means less spending on new projects. Everest Group, a research firm, actually projected that engineering services outsourcing growth in media and entertainment will be in the low to mid-single digits for 2024.
That's a big drop from that 18.2% growth they saw in FY23.
It is. So the question is, how are they adapting to this new reality?
Yeah, good question. Guess we'll have to find out in the next section.
We will indeed.
Can't wait. This is getting interesting.
It is, isn't it? But before we go, I want you to think about something. How do you see Tata Elxsi's work impacting your everyday life? From how you watch your favorite shows to the future of transportation, their influence is everywhere. So we were talking about how Tata Elxsi is facing some headwinds in the media and communications sector.
Yeah, that market slowdown's got to be tough.
Yeah.
But they seem like a company that knows how to pivot.
You're right, they do. And the Concalls show they're not sitting still. While the market's all about cost optimization right now, they're positioning themselves to capture new growth areas.
Interesting. So what are these new growth areas? Give us the inside scoop.
Well, they're talking a lot about developing next-generation digital content monetization platforms.
Okay, so think streaming services, right? How they make money has totally changed.
Exactly. And Tata Elxsi seems to be stepping in to help companies figure out this new landscape, finding innovative ways to monetize content in the digital age.
So they're not just reacting, they're anticipating what's coming next.
That's what it sounds like. And remember that deal they snagged for connected device diagnostics?
Refresh my memory. What was that about again?
Think about all the smart devices we have now, from TVs to phones, even refrigerators and washing machines. Tata Elxsi is developing solutions to diagnose and troubleshoot these devices remotely.
Ah, right. So instead of calling a repair person every time your smart fridge acts up, they can diagnose, maybe even fix it remotely.
Pretty much. It shows how Tata Elxsi is using their skills to find opportunities even when the market's tough. And they're also talking about synergy between their software development and services division and their systems integration and support division.
Okay, I'm not sure I follow. Break that down for me.
So they're not just building software on its own. They're thinking about how it fits into the bigger picture.
Ah, got it. So they're combining their software expertise with their ability to integrate and support systems to offer a more comprehensive solution.
Exactly. It's a one-stop shop for companies trying to navigate the digital world.
Makes sense. That's a big advantage in a market that's so complex. But what about healthcare? We know it did really well in FY23 with 37.6% growth. What's the latest from the Concalls?
Healthcare is where things get really interesting. They seem super bullish on this sector, and the Concalls back that up. Remember their digital health platform?
Yeah, the one with solutions for patient engagement, digital therapeutics, patient assistance programs.
That's the one. And they're using some really cool technologies to build it. The Concalls talk about the continued growth in virtual health, self-monitoring trends, and investments in personalized treatments and predictive healthcare.
So like your smartwatch could predict a health issue before you even have symptoms and that kind of thing.
Exactly. And Tata Elxsi is leading the charge, developing the AI and data analysis tools to make it possible. They also mentioned the growing adoption of outcome-based payment models, which rely heavily on data and technology.
So it's a shift from just treating illnesses to actually preventing them, focusing on well-being overall.
Right. And Tata Elxsi is at the heart of this transformation, providing the tech backbone for this new era of healthcare. Their annual report even points out that traditional healthcare companies are turning to them for help with digital transformation.
So they're becoming the go-to partner for companies wanting to modernize and stay competitive in healthcare.
Absolutely. And here's a key takeaway from their annual report. Digital ER&D outsourcing is expected to grow faster than traditional ER&D.
So not only are they in a high-growth sector, but their digital expertise is going to be even more in demand.
You got it. They're not just riding the wave, they're helping to create it. Now, before we move on to Pew comparison, I want to circle back to those leadership changes we mentioned earlier.
Right, those two new board members, Mr. Sumitra Bhattacharya and Mrs. Ashu Siyash. Did we get any more info on their backgrounds, what they bring to the table?
Let's see, yeah. Mr. Bhattacharya's got a ton of experience in tech and consulting, worked with some big global companies, so he knows international markets and strategic growth.
That's valuable. What about Ms. Sudash?
She comes from a strong finance and investment background, led some major financial institutions. So her expertise in financial management and risk assessment will be important as Tata Elxsi grows and invests.
It seems like they're really building a board to guide them through the next phase of their journey.
Definitely. Thinking long-term, preparing for success, now ready to see how they measure up against the competition.
Hit me with it. Let's talk peer comparison.
Okay, so we don't have specific data to do a direct head-to-head comparison in the materials we have.
It's too bad. But can we still draw some conclusions based on what we do know?
Absolutely. We can look at their overall performance, market position, strategic focus, and get a sense of how they stack up. So first off, Tata Elxsi is a big player in design and tech services, especially in their main sectors: transportation, media and communication, and healthcare.
Right, they're not some small company. They're working with big names and shaping industries.
Exactly. Their global reach, diverse clients, and commitment to innovation show a strong position.
Plus, their financial performance has been great, even with the economic slowdown.
You're right. Their growth and profitability set them apart. They're not just surviving, they're thriving.
So even without hard data, it's safe to say Tata Elxsi is a force to be reckoned with.
I'd say so. They're not just keeping up, they're setting the pace. Now, what stood out to you the most about them so far?
Honestly, their adaptability. They're not just reacting to the market, they're anticipating it, finding ways to capitalize on new opportunities.
I agree. And their commitment to innovation and sustainability is pretty impressive.
All right, we've covered a lot: financials, sector strategies, leadership, capacity plans.
A true deep dive.
But I feel like there's still more to uncover. What's next?
Well, we've established that Tata Elxsi is impressive. Now it's time to explore what it all means. How will their work shape industries and our lives? That's what we'll talk about in the final part of our deep dive.
Intriguing. Looking forward to it.
Me too. But until then, dear listener, think about how technology is changing the world and how companies like Tata Elxsi are driving that change.
Okay, so we've dug into Tata Elxsi's financials, their strategies for each sector, even got a glimpse of their leadership changes and capacity plans.
Yeah, we've seen how they're handling everything. Innovation in transportation, the ups and downs of media and entertainment, and all the exciting stuff happening in healthcare.
But now I want the bigger picture, you know? How are they shaping not just industries, but how we actually live our lives?
That's the big question, right? It goes way beyond the numbers and the reports. It's about understanding the real impact of what they do.
Exactly. So where do we even start with that?
Well, their annual report for FY24 gives us some clues. They talk about these key trends that they think will drive growth, not just for them, but for everyone.
Okay, give me the rundown. What kind of trends?
They specifically mention the impact of AI on productivity, the whole cybersecurity landscape, the rise of quantum computing, and how cloud technology just keeps expanding.
Wow, That's a lot to think about. It's like they're predicting the future.
Right. And what's interesting is they're not just watching these trends happen, they're actually investing in research and development to be a part of it all.
So they're not just along for the ride. They're shaping it.
Exactly. And they're doing it with a focus on using these technologies to solve real problems for their clients. That's where their expertise in transportation, media, and healthcare really comes in.
Okay, so how do these trends actually play out in those different sectors?
Let's take transportation. Imagine your car is more than just a car. It's like part of your digital life, you know? It can predict traffic, find the best routes, even talk to other cars to prevent accidents.
That sounds futuristic.
It does, doesn't it? But Tata Elxsi is working on the AI and software to make it a reality.
So they're not just designing cars, they're designing how we'll get around in the future.
Exactly. And then there's media and communication. The way we watch stuff, listen to music, it's totally different now.
Streaming, personalized recommendations, it's all about access, anytime, anywhere.
Right. And Tata Elxsi's right there, building the platforms and technologies that make it all work, from streaming quality to creating experiences that keep us engaged.
It's like they're designing the future of entertainment.
And in healthcare, the possibilities are huge. Imagine diseases being detected and treated before you even get sick. Personalized treatments based on your genes. Virtual assistants monitoring your health around the clock.
Like having a doctor with you 24/7.
Exactly. And Tata Elxsi is using technology to make it happen. AI, diagnostics, digital therapeutics, even virtual reality for rehab.
It's amazing how they're pushing the boundaries in healthcare.
They really are. And their annual report mentioned something interesting. They highlighted India's projected GDP growth, citing sources like Moody's, predicting 6.8% growth in 2024.
So they see a lot of potential in their home market.
Yeah, even though they're global, India is still important. A strong economy means more businesses investing in tech, which is good for Tata Elxsi.
So they're helping to shape the future of their own country, too.
That's a great point. They're global but connected to their roots. And their focus on sustainability, like that solar project we talked about, shows they're thinking long-term.
Okay, so we've covered the big picture. But what does it all mean for our listeners? Why should they care about Tata Elxsi?
That's the key question. I think it comes down to this. Tata Elxsi isn't just a company. It's a force for change. They're not just building stuff. They're building a better future. More connected, efficient, sustainable, and focused on people.
They're not just riding the wave, they're creating it.
Exactly. Whether you're into investing, tech, or just care about the future, Tata Elxsi is a company to watch.
I think that wraps it up nicely. We've gone deep, learned a lot, and hopefully made people curious to learn more.
Definitely. We've just scratched the surface. Check out their annual reports, their website, see how their work connects with your own interests.
You might even be inspired to join them on their journey. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Tata Elxsi. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.